There's always trade-offs. Everything you do, there's always going to be trade-offs. You want to date an Instagram model? Well, she's going to have people who make more money than you in her DM every single day, just saying, well, I know you have that, but you want some of this? Did I ever tell you guys? Of course I didn't. When there was this place outside of where I worked, it was a pretty fun spot. I went there. The bartender was flirting with me a little bit. Oh, yeah. Ended up getting her number.
So what do you like to do besides eat Mexican food and smoke?
Ended up hanging out with her. One time when me and some of my friends got out of work and went out, she met us out. And my coworkers, like a week later at work, was like, wow, that girl was really into you. I'm like, are you still hanging out with her? I'm like, no, she never answered me the other day. They were like, well, I don't understand. She was all over you. I go, well, she's a bartender. All it takes is for her to be there, and then she meets a me who's more me than me. I'd like to say that's a good transition. It wasn't. I guess I just had something to say. There was that commenter yesterday who said, I come here, I don't even come here for the picks anymore. I don't even want to give picks anymore. Every day I got to wake up. I open that paper. What the hell am I going to give these people? All right, let's start in Colorado, where you got the Winnipeg Jets coming in to play the Avalanche. They played in the playoffs. Colorado won. Winnipeg was a fraud in the playoffs. Hellebuck did the playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Well, I will say this. Winnipeg has shut out Colorado in 2 games so far up in Winnipeg. A reasonable person would believe a team like Colorado. Well, would you really be that pissed on? It's like, they got shut out twice in Winnipeg. I would look over if somebody said that. Oh, well, I shut you out twice in Winnipeg. I bet, hey, remember when you guys won the trophy for letting in the fewest goals during the regular season, and then we just came in there and absolutely waxed you, beat you in 5, and it was a laughable series. Remember that? Yeah, so enjoy your 2 random regular season shutouts. That's what I would say. Because that's the truth. So are the Avalanche they could lose tonight, but one would think these division games, you don't get swept. You don't go 0-4 over the course of the season. So you would think the Avalanche are somewhat due for a win. This actually isn't a game that I have many sniffs in. Something that I did notice was a plus money Mark Schiefele assist. I do want a little dabble at that. I want a little dabble at a plus money Mark Schiefele assist. Instead, I'd rather focus on this Kings-Panthers game, just like yesterday when I said these 2 teams, the chemistry of them makes this game reek of an under. You had Carolina, you had Dallas, 2 teams who, if given the right opponent, they can both of those teams can score 5 goals. We've seen that on numerous occasions this year. However, they are teams who kind of play defensively when push comes to shove. So when you have 2 teams playing like that very frequently, you get somewhat closer to clenched ass-cheek variety games. That's what we got last night. If you took the under 6.5 with the under half on Roslovic, you were fine. Even if you took the under 6 on the game, you were fine because the game played out in a similar fashion that I thought it would. You got to think the same thing is kind of coming tonight. I know there was a 5-2 game against Anaheim. You have to throw that out the window. You're talking about the Stanley Cup champions versus a year after year lottery type team. You have mail-ins that are always possible in those games. You have the Kings coming off a mail-in, so unless you think a really good team in the Kings is going to go back-to-back mail-ins against the Stanley Cup champ, that reeked of a mail-in. You got the Penguins. And then right after that, you're looking over the calendar. You got the Stanley Cup champions coming in. That's the true test. Kings have stood up well against true tests so far this year. My thought, if there were no lines, you lean, right? Florida wins the night before. People get excited about them. They see the Florida Panthers, defending Cup champs, at plus money, going to the Kings, who just lost to Pittsburgh. Let's take the Florida Panther. My brain says the Kings will have a good performance and probably win. But I mean, when you have clenched ass cheek games, just like that game yesterday with Dallas and Carolina, it could have went either way. Even the first game that I gave you, Detroit, Philly, it's 1-1, goes to overtimes 3-on-3. It can go either way. The other game that I gave you, Washington, Edmonton, is 1-1. goes Washington's way. That's the way the NHL works. But I like the under 6.5 here. I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did yesterday. Yes, I know that it's listed at 5.5. So I'm going to take a player who I see isolated, the two that I like. Honestly, I'm going to go on with Sam Bennett. I'm going with Sam Bennett opposed to Anton Lundell because Bennett's playing on a second line with Sam Oskevich and Luosterainen, and he's not on the top power play. So if he's going to get points, and I know he got one last night, he's going to have to earn them. It's not like he's playing with any of these all-stars out there. So I'm going to try to isolate that Sam Bennett point, put it with the under 6.5, and then that will get us this under 6.5 at like a plus 125. I absolutely have no problems with that. Also in that game, a little assistance from what I like to call Area 51, Odd Shopper Premium. They saw a good price on the under 2.5 shots for Kevin Fiala. Compared to the other sports books, getting that at a plus 120 is actually a good value if you do that consistently with enough. If you're going to take it individually, sometimes people will look at that and just take the one at the top, and if they lose, they go, I'm never doing this again. Something like this, you look for a bunch of values, you put them in, you almost always end up in the long run. What I will say for this bet individually, the bad side is that Kevin Fiala plays the full 2 minutes on every single power. He plays on power play unit 1 and power play unit 2. He does one of those like Ovechkin, McKinnon type things. But what I will say, when you're talking about suppressing shots, when the Florida Panthers are engaged in a game, there are few teams who are going to do it better than them. So if you are going to hold somebody under 2.5 shots, I think the Panthers are the ones that you want to kind of lean on to do that. This isn't the Ducks on the other side. So if you're getting that under 2.5 shots at plus money, that could be a good bet right there against the LA Kings. And then if you guys were looking for some ruckus, I think you know where to look. There's one potential game that kind of stands out to you. Nowadays, the NHL makes it easier for you. They put these lines, they put the spreads, these totals are always at 5.5. It's like we're in the second round of the playoffs this season.
The playoffs?
But when you see those 6.5s, you know where the ruckus might be. But I'm seeing the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm hoping between these two teams, which we've seen in the last year or two, they can engage in some high-scoring affairs. And when I'm perusing those point props, here are the two things that I noticed. Number one, Bobby McMann. Another game where they're putting him as a plus money point. How's he any different than Matthew Nyes? Well, Matthew Nyes plays with 2 All-Stars. Bobby McMann plays with 1. But they're both on the top power play. They're going with that 5-forward power play. He came through in the last game, and his player point prop combo came through with William Nylander as well. So give me Bobby McMann plus 105, top power play, line 2 with Willie Nylander. And then give me the point prop combo with those two. And then also a side slice, a little side order of garlic knots. Do you guys know what garlic knots are? You know, when I make these videos, who's watching? I don't know. I know the guy from New Jersey knows what garlic knots are. Do they have garlic knots in Oakland? Do they have garlic knots north of Calgary? What the hell is north of Calgary? For an American, you're not going to meet many more guys who have a better knowledge of the Canadian landscape. But I don't know what the hell is north of Calgary. I guess maybe I'll find out someday. No, I won't. And that's what I have for you here on, pretty chill. I have no problem with 4 games. I can just choose. It's not like one of these menus, the In-N-Out menu, where you got, just give me a single or a double, and that's all we have to choose from. It's enough to have good things on the menu, but we're not at it like one of those diner menus. 75 pages, and you end up just getting a hamburger deluxe on the first page. Anyway, good luck to you. Better luck to me. Do the things I asked for, the free ones. Do the free things. Not a couple treat things, but a couple free things. Like the video. I mean, you see this? See this? Just click the damn button. Click the button. You know what's funny? I have a plan to never ask this. I just keep forgetting to do it. I have a plan to never ask you guys to do these things again. I just have to remember to do it. And what are the other things? Comment. Here's how I read your comments. I have my phone, and I'm like, oh, God. It's like opening It's like opening the crate in Game of Thrones and just hoping that orc is not in there. You know, the one they bring back to King's Landing. That's what I think's gonna happen. I start peeking, and as soon as I see it, like, LOL, I'm like, okay, I could read this one. Not a gargoyle comment. And then lastly, all right, did you enjoy this? I'm doing a song and a dance. I'm shucking and jiving like the WB Frog. You should subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos. Click the notifications. This is afternoon. Sometimes it's night. Sometimes it's in the middle of the morning. Because that's how I do things. When I have time, I make the videos and then I click upload. Sometimes we encounter issues. Sometimes we don't. But the only way you'll know when they come out nice and early is if you click those notifications. And if you guys want to join the community of sniffers and you want to be the lone sponsor of this show and you want to call yourself a minority owner of this show, if someone goes, hey man, this a girl breaks up with you, the one who met another you who's more you than you, and go, what do you own? You don't own anything. The guy in my DM, he owns this, that. You go, I'm a minority owner of the best sniffing YouTube channel there is out there. All right, what do you own?
Nothing!
I hope to see you guys over there. It's patreon.com/AndyFrancis. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for another round of NHL Sniffs. And oh yes, Conference Championship. Dave and a Dan. No donkey costume for this guy. See you later.